Hey everybody. So I'm currently in the process of getting ready for a weekend backpacking trip coming up here in 2 weeks, and just want to take a few minutes and kind of run through how I typically prep for my food. I'm going to talk about a couple different options. One being, your pre-packaged, freeze-dried meals. You can get them at REI. They're somewhat expensive. It does usually give you 2 servings, and there's all kinds of different flavors and different types of meals for that. I'm gonna talk a little bit about what I prefer, which is some DIY meals. So I'm gonna just kind of run through that process of how to make meals that don't taste terrible, but can save you a couple dollars. And then gonna talk about some snacks, ways to get electrolytes while you're out on the trail. And then gonna just kind of give an overview of the calories that I try to hit each day while I'm out there. So with that, let's get right to it. So the first thing that I kind of want to run through are these pre-packaged meals that you can get at like the outdoor stores like REI, things like that. This one is a beef pasta marinara. It's made by Peak Refuel. It does give 2 servings. This one has 49 grams of protein in it, which is insane. Almost 1,100 calories. Probably won't eat all of this in one sitting. I probably could, but won't. I'll probably break this up into 2 different meals. This was, I believe, $15 at REI. So it's a little expensive when you're eating this, 2 or 3 times a day while you're out there. So I usually only get one of these per trip, if any, just because this is going to taste the best, and it's a little bit of a pick-me-up after a long day of hiking. Pretty simple, it tells you on the back of the pouch how much water to add, and then this mug here that I have, it's made by Tokes, has measurements on the inside so I can make sure that the water ratio is right depending on what the meal requires. So that's super useful. So the rest of this stuff here is going to be stuff where you can kind of DIY your own meals. This is what I prefer to do just because it saves money. I have a little bit more control over like the flavors and the amount of calories I'm getting and different combinations I can make. So I'll probably just run through kind of in the order of the day. So I'll start with breakfast and then what I typically do for lunch, and then we'll go into dinner. So for breakfast, I've tried a couple different things as I've gotten into backpacking, and I've found this combination to be my favorite, but it's pretty simple. I get the apple and cinnamon instant oatmeal. So I usually put 2 of these in these boil safe bags. So I get these off of Amazon. I'll put the link in the description. They are reusable and they're resealable, so they do have a seal on the inside. And what I'll do right before I leave for the trip is I'll just open up 2 packets of these, drop them down in there, and then I'll put these freeze-dried banana and strawberries in there as well. This bag here is like 1.2 ounces, so I'll just split this in half because I'm going to go for 2 days. I'll split this bag in half, put half in this meal, and then make a second one for the second day. And it's surprisingly pretty filling. It gives some good energy to start the day. And then I haven't tried this yet. I'm still dialing in the best way to do coffee because I don't take a coffee press or anything like that. Found this, I'm gonna try that on this upcoming trip, see how it does. Typically I've found like I've done the Folgers instant coffee before, and then you're mixing it with creamer, and I never get the ratio right. It's either way too strong or it tastes like milk. So I'm hoping that this already pre-blended will help. But yeah, this is a super simple breakfast idea that is pretty filling. So next up is going to be lunch, and doesn't look like much, but actually one of my buddies that I hike with took this on a trip, and it did really well as far as giving you enough energy and getting some protein. I didn't realize until recently that bagels have a lot of protein. 1 bagel has 9 grams of protein, which is pretty good for just essentially bread. And then I like these little Jif to go peanut butter cups. It's a little bit of extra trash you end up carrying around with you, but it's lighter weight than taking a full jar if you're not gonna eat that much. And one of these I found is a perfect amount for a bagel. And really for lunch, all I'll have is just a full bagel and a cup of peanut butter. One of the things that I really have started to learn as I've been doing this is to eat throughout the day instead of having 3 big meals and then going, 4, 5, 6 hour spans without eating anything. It's to just, have breakfast to some degree, and then an hour or 2 in, you start having snacks along the way throughout the day while you're walking. And then lunch, it's a little bit lighter, but you're eating snacks continuously throughout the day to keep your energy up. And then, dinner, which we'll talk about next, is kind of how you end the day with your food. So with dinner, there's a lot of options, and I just want to preface to say that all these dinners could be lunches too. Sometimes I do interchange them and do something other than the bagel and peanut butter. So over here on this side, this is the bases that I usually use, and by base I mean some type of starch or a carb. This is minute brown rice. This takes a little bit longer to cook than white rice, so I would recommend probably white rice, especially if you're starting out trying this. But again, it's pretty straightforward. So I'll take either this rice, this couscous, the ramen noodles. Sometimes I'll take the easy mac and cheese, any of those, put them in those little boil safe bags that I have here. Measure out how much I want to take, what my serving size is going to be, and then usually take a picture of the back of this box just so I have it on my phone to remind myself how much water to add. But all these are just add water. You don't have to worry about boiling it in the cup or anything. I'll put it down in this bag, boil the water, pour the boiling water in the bag, zip it up, seal it shut for the amount of time that it recommends, and then usually that's good enough. So before I leave, I'll measure out this, put it in the bag, and then I'll choose one of these meats to take. So these are, different flavors of chicken. They make tuna, they make turkey, whatever your preference is, different flavors, and this is going to give you some more protein. So depending how hungry you are, how much you plan to eat, you can take 2 of these per meal. What I like to do is I'll just put it down in the bag with this until I'm ready to use it. I'll cook the base first, and then I'll add this after it's hot. And then these, I'm going to try these out on this upcoming trip. This is just to give a little bit more flavor. So this is a teriyaki barbecue sauce, and then this is a Japanese barbecue sauce. Yeah, so this is just kind of a spur of the moment idea I had. I haven't tried this yet. This is Puerto Rican beans, and you could take tortillas and do like bean burritos if you wanted to. But what I try to remember, or try to make sure I always do, is to take stuff that doesn't require having to stay cold. So all this stuff you can carry at room temperature. It's already sealed. And you're gonna eat it in one sitting anyway, so you don't have to worry about keeping it cold. But this is typically my breakdown for dinner, and then it gives you a little bit of variety on what flavor you want. Next up is gonna be snacks. This is what I was talking about earlier, where you wanna take stuff that you can eat throughout the day. You want stuff that's gonna give you energy, obviously. Some of my favorites, and there's a lot of options here again on whatever your preference is for snacks throughout the day. I try to take stuff that's not gonna get crushed easy, like chips and crackers and things like that, because they're gonna get crushed in your bag unless you put them in some type of hard-sided container, which then just adds unnecessary weight and takes up more space in your bag. But one of my favorites, I think it's, pretty common. The Cliff Bars are good. I like the peanut butter flavor. I'll try to have at least 2 of those a day while I'm walking. Other things, you can get these at, outdoor stores like REI. There's different companies that make stuff. This is like a little wafer cookie. It's gonna have a sweeter flavor, so it's gonna give you some energy. It's gonna taste good. This is actually a pro bar, so this could be used in place of a meal if you wanted to. One of my friends that I go with uses these for meals all the time. I'm not quite there yet, but this one's good. While you're on the go, there's 9 grams of protein in this. It's gonna be a ton of calories. I think this one has, 400 calories in this one. Then these are really interesting. So these are actually designed for people that are doing like ultra marathons or doing really strenuous outdoor activities. I think kind of above and beyond hiking, but these are still pretty good to take. They're relatively cheap, at like $2 a piece. And they're just gels that you can take while you're on the go. They make different flavors. Some have caffeine, some don't. So this one is like a chocolate flavor, and this one's gonna be more of a fruity flavor. And these are daily hydration tablets. So there's just a little small tablet, you drop it in 16 ounces of water, shake it up, it dissolves. Gonna give you electrolytes. This is the tropical punch flavor. I actually haven't tried this brand yet. I'm gonna try that on the upcoming trip, see how it does. But this is a good alternative to water if you're tired of drinking water all the time. And then I will do a combination of raisins and cashews, because cashews have a lot of protein in them as well. What does this say here? There's 5 grams per serving, and serving size is like 20 pieces. So I'll take little small Ziploc bags and then put cashews and raisins, and then that's like a trail mix that I can eat while I'm walking. Pretty simple. These are cookies. I have a sweet tooth, so I have to have something sweet at some point. I just try my best not to crush these if I can help it. So I put these close to the top of my bag, where there's not a lot of stuff on top of them. Again, I just put them in Ziploc bags, and I'll take, I'll eat one of those a day after lunch, half through the day, just to kind of give me another little pick-me-up, because you're constantly burning a ton of energy while you're out there. But yeah, this is snacks, and then over here is some Fruit Smile gummies. I mean, there's not a lot of nutritional value in this, but they do taste good. And then I usually like to take some type of candy, peppermints, Skittles, something like that that I can have throughout the day. It goes a long way after you've been walking all day and you're low on energy, and it's a good morale booster at the end of the day. So lastly, I just wanted to take a quick second to talk about calories. Calorie intake really depends on a lot of different things, so such as your body weight, how far you're going, how strenuous the hike is going to be, temperature could even play a swing if you're sweating a lot, or if it's cold, your body may burn more energy to try to stay warm. So it really just depends on a case-by-case basis on what you're doing and what your body type is. But typically between 2,500 to 4,500 calories a day. I rarely hit that mark. That equates to about 1.5 to 2.5 pounds of food, which is hard to do, especially when you have space constraints or weight constraints as far as what you can put in your pack. So typically that's what I shoot for. And when I'm doing those DIY meals, I'm looking at the protein, obviously looking at the calories, of course, and try my best to get close to that target range of 2,500. And that's my goal. I think that people will have different goals depending on, again, what their tasks are, what they're trying to do. But it's a thought process behind how I pack for my backpacking trips. And if you guys have any questions, leave a comment below. Thanks for watching.